What's up my friends, Nexx here with another guide. This time, once again, we are looking at the dungeon, expedition, whatever you wanna call it. Today we are taking a look at the Genesis Garden. This is a level 60 expedition. It's an end game expedition actually. And it also drops quite a bit of legendary loot. I believe that this is definitely something you should know about. And let's take a look at it, huh? For this expedition, you're gonna need 5 people, and you're also gonna need a Genesis tuning orb. You can get this Genesis tuning orb from quests in, I think, Eden Grove. If you do the main story and the side stories, you're gonna get 2 orbs from those, and you can also just craft it by a stone cutter. As you might expect, you're gonna need 5 people, and one of those 5 is gonna have to be a tank, while another one will have to be a healer. It is required to be level 60 for this dungeon, so you cannot really skip around that, but basically that's the setup. 3 DPS, 1 tank, 1 healer. As far as location goes, you can find the dungeon in the north side of Eden Grove, and it should be pretty easy for you to get there. There's even a road. Now, talking about the mobs that you're gonna find in the dungeon, I would say that they're basically the same mobs you find in the open world. Basically Angry Earth. They're gonna summon a lot of random small mobs, and you also got like the mages and all the good stuff that you hate fighting. They're nothing special. I wouldn't spend that much time on these. As before, I would recommend using a gravity well from an axe. A lot of AoE is gonna help, so if you can get like a fire staff or an ice gauntlet, that might help as well. Of course, slashing damage will do more damage to them, so like a great axe would be useful. But honestly, they're not that difficult. Now for the first boss, and probably the boss that you're gonna wipe at the most, we have the caregiver, caretaker, whatever his name is. You have this big plant that is gonna just screw you up very hard. Basically, the first stage opens like this. You start DPSing him, and he will always extend his arm towards the further away DPS or healer. As you can see here, you can actually kind of see the telegraphed movement. Other than that, he doesn't do a whole lot in this stage, but basically your healer or ranged DPS will have to make sure that they don't get hit. You can dodge through this, it shouldn't be an issue. Other than that, he does a lot of front attacks, which means that if you are a melee DPS, you should be always behind him. This also means that you're gonna critical hit every single time, so basically you double your normal damage. Make sure that your tank is holding the aggro as much as possible, and just make sure that if you are tanking, you are holding the boss so the DPS can be behind him. Even though, as you can see, he actually moves around the room quite a bit. As you get him down like a third of his HP, he's gonna summon an arena all around him, and he's also gonna start a DPS check. As you can see, under his health, he's gonna have a stamina bar. If you don't destroy that stamina bar in time, of course, he's gonna do an AoE damage ability, and he's just gonna kill everybody within the arena. As you keep doing damage to him, he's gonna also start doing these balls of dirt or whatever, as you can see on the right side. He will throw these balls towards the healer or the ranged DPS. As you can see, my healer just died there. It is what it is. And other than that, he doesn't really do a whole lot more in this phase. You just have to keep doing DPS to him and be fine. The one more thing he can do is the green flies, or whatever you call them. They usually stay around him and they do damage over time. If you have AoE heals, you can pop them down like in the video and just get healed by just sitting next to the boss. It should be fine. Eventually the cage will disappear and he will start summoning mobs all around you. I would recommend killing mobs as they come, but don't focus too much on them. Your main focus should be the boss once again, because he's gonna do the same DPS check in just a second. So basically do as much DPS to the boss as possible and use your AoEs to deal with the mobs that are coming around you. If you fail the DPS check here, you're gonna die again, so it is what it is. But basically that's gonna be it. After that, he's gonna go underground and start summoning these pools of disease on the floor. Basically here, all you can do is kill ads and just avoid the disease pools on the floor. If you stay in them, you're gonna get blighted, and that's gonna just be a death sentence, to be honest, because if you don't have a blight potion, that you should probably have, is just gonna do a lot of damage to you, and is also gonna lower your damage and your health. As you can see, we just kited, we didn't really need a Blight Potion, but we were fine in that regard. Eventually he's gonna come out of the ground and the arena cage, whatever you wanna call it, is gonna disappear. He's gonna start summoning mobs again and go back underground. This is when you're gonna try to focus as much as possible on the ads, and you just basically ignore him. Every time you see him coming towards you, you have to dodge out and just make sure that you use your invulnerability frame to dodge his attack. Mobs are gonna keep spawning, but just make sure that you're killing the boss and you should be fine. You can probably dodge a lot of the mobs and you shouldn't have a real issue. Here I'm just doing it with one more person because everybody died and we were fine, honestly. Okay, now the last boss, probably the least dangerous of both of them, to be honest, is this woman made out of plants or whatever. She's not gonna do a whole lot. Her main ability is this one that you just saw. She's gonna do like a laser beam on somebody that's far away from her, or I think it's actually random, and that person is gonna summon a pool of green mucus, whatever, just green something. And if you stay in that green something on the left side, you're gonna get poisoned. She's also gonna summon those balls that you just saw not long ago. They're just gonna run around in random directions, to be honest, and leave the same kind of green poison or whatever you wanna call it. This phase is basically just that, along with front attacks on top of your tank. The tank has to use dodge a lot, honestly, because you cannot really block everything and you're gonna get slapped down. And honestly, it's just the best way to tank it is just by actually dodging her attacks. So you use your invulnerability frame and you should be fine. Your DPS can do free DPS at the back while that is happening, and as you can see, her main focus is either range, healers, or the tank. So midi DPS should have a pretty easy time. Second phase, she's gonna go underground, because every boss has a thing with going underground. And she's gonna come out as a tentacle, tendril, spike, whatever you call it. She's gonna just target everybody, it's gonna be random. And she's also gonna summon these small ads. You can deal with the ads pretty easily, it shouldn't be an issue. She's also gonna do that front screaming, which is gonna be an AoE, and she's also gonna do the ball dropping. Make sure you avoid the big rocks that come out of the ceiling, I guess. I don't know. Out of something, they're dropping down, they will drop on your head and they will hurt you very hard. That thing is actually gonna one-shot you, so make sure you avoid. She's also gonna throw some little vines or spikes, whatever you wanna call them. They don't do that much damage, you can just DPS through it, it shouldn't be an issue. Once a few balls are down on the ground, she will start initiating her wipe mechanic. Basically, she's gonna start summoning plague and you're gonna have to hide behind the rocks so you don't get damaged. Basically, just make sure that you have a rock between you and her and you should be fine. If you get caught outside, you're gonna just die instantly and there's no coming back from that. She's gonna keep repeating these mechanics until you basically just kill her. She doesn't do anything else. Thank you so much for watching. Like if you actually found it useful so more people can see this and you have a lower chance of actually getting wiped when you just queue with random people. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.